Oh yes, a power greed, a greed for power, greed for money and everything. We want to be rich, overnight. We want to acquire everything overnight. We want to be on top of everything overnight. Yes, I got all of this. I feel what because of this. That's a music. Welcome. We're going to start off this afternoon with maybe let's just lay some foundation where we come from. How did we get here? Yeah, let's start off from there. Let's call in somebody to actually tell us how we got here. I mean, I'm talking about in the context of Liberia. How did we get here? Yeah. Let's invite the former president of Liberia. His Excellency. He's there, of course, yeah. Just by the fact that his liberty rights is being curtailed, is being seized. But he's the former president of Liberia. Let's invite the former president of Liberia, His Excellency Charles Ganke Tiller, to tell us briefly as to how we got here in the first place. How did we get here? Who should be responsible? People pointed or people are still directing fingers at him that he's responsible, he got us to where we are or whatever. But let's hear from Mr. Chancellor himself as well when he was testifying at The Hague. He also pointed fingers at others, And that's why we are advocating to bring the war crime court in Liberia. So that those fingers that Mr. Taylor pointed at yesterday, those individuals that you were pointing at, calling their names or so, we got to get them and bring them to the drawing table as well. Mr. Taylor alone shouldn't take the burden. No way. It's not fair. Yeah, yes. I agree. Yeah, people already starting arguing. Oh yeah, but you're not taken to court because of Liberian Civil War. We all know that one anyway. Yeah, no, cause at least I went to The Hague twice to watch to see Mr. Taylor in the courtroom itself and to hear from him. I went there twice. So I know why Mr. Taylor was taken there. So there's no question about that. Even though I can say 70 or 75%, almost 80% of the cross-examination from the both lawyers, his lawyer and the prosecuting lawyers, 80% of the questions they were asking him, Mr. Taylor at the time. Funny enough, he was being tried but for the war in Sierra Leone. But this is what you should take from me. That as far as that trial was concerned, 80% of the cross-examination that was done in court to Mr. Taylor everything was about Liberia. 80%. Yes, they say, oh yeah, Mr. Taylor was taken to court, was taken to The Hague because of his involvement in Sierra Leone. Yeah, they put it that way. But imagine now the volume of the cross-examination questions, deliberations on issues from his own lawyer, from Brenda Hollis and her team, the prosecuting lawyers. Everything was just about Liberia. Everything. Everything was about Liberia. Let's be honest. Yeah. So when people want to bring an argument, oh, it's not time to bring war crime code in Liberia because Mr. Taylor was not tried for Liberia. He was they did a blah 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 all type of thing. Just sit there. You leave this thing alone. If you don't know it, leave it. But we're going to hear from Mr. Taylor. He just a gist of it. And then we go to Kenya. Now listen to Professor Patrice Lumumba about corruption. Then now we come and give you an update from Liberia. I will give you the synopsis of what I saw there, what I heard, my own analysis, and maybe pieces of advice that I have to give. We'll do that at the end. I'm going to be here for the next couple of hours anyway. And so that is how we're going to do it this afternoon. I promised you already that today I'm going to sit here and give you some feedback with respect to what I saw back home, what I heard, my own analysis, and pieces of advice that I have to give as well. What it has to do with the fucking clone church. What it has to do with the 25 million USD that was infused in the economy right in Nuclear Town. Yeah. Or the $16 billion that I am still asking questions and people still coming at me and telling me, putting words in my ears or so. But I don't have it. I don't even take it for you guys. My mental strength can well handle your antagonistic views about my comments and my daily advocacy. None of you can handle me. None of you. Just none of you. None of you. My mental strength is far, far, far greater than what you're thinking of. So I can take on anybody. I can handle anybody. I will continue to ask the question about the $16 billion. I will continue to ask the question about the $25 million say was infused in the economy. Take the money, go give it to money changer in the street. Where in the world? Where in the world? In the whole wide world? In which country? Tell me one country that the president or the finance minister went and took maybe $5 million and went and gave it to money exchanger, black money. We call it black money exchanger on the table. And say, yeah, just help us to build the economy. Where in the world? And when we're talking here, somebody is coming here to get at us or whatsoever. So let's see. Let's take this team and then let me share the video first, and then when I come back now, we hear from Mr. Taylor, just a few minutes. Then from there we go to Professor Patrice Lumumba talking about corruption, and then from there we'll come back now for me to give you, an overview of how the holiday was like in Liberia. Happy New Year to all of you. Happy New Year. It's great to see all of you here. I want to 2 hours, Augustine. Let's quote them. We were not like this. Oh yes, the guy say, Ayaka. For anybody, you know what me all a do? That senseless thinking, that power, that quest for money to get rich quick. Yeah, that what me all of this. But welcome to the show. Thanks to all of you. Thank you very, very much. Those of you that are sharing the video. Thank you. Sam K. Dabby. Thanks, Sam. I appreciate it. Thanks for all of you who are sharing the video as well. Let's go now to Mr. Charles Taylor. Let's hear from him a little bit. Because why made all of this? The way the music we're talking about, why made all of this? What got us here? We have to let's get the root first, eh? We'll come and I will take you to Liberia. At least the 4 or 5 weeks I was there. I went there far before Christmas. Interacted with a lot of people. We'll give you the feedback from there. But let's go back. Happy New Year once again to all of you. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Let's go to former Taylor, former President Charles Kpakio Taylor, and then from there we go to Magufuli. We go to Patrice Lumumba. Okay, let me see. Let me pull this video out because I want to share the video with you first of all, so you can see it. Okay, I think we got it now.
Yes, Mr. Goodness.
May it please your honours. Mr. Taylor, just before lunch, I rather prematurely placed before you a map. But before we come to the map, I think we need to lay a bit more groundwork. Now, upon your release, following that second incarceration in Ghana, did you travel anywhere outside Africa?
After my release from Ghana, I went straight to Ivory Coast. Then I went to Burkina Faso. Verified my trip I went into Libya to see the situation of the men, returned, and then before I went to France.
Why did you go to France?
I did not put the second MPFL together alone. This second MPFL was put together by those of us. I remember saying to the court, there was a group in La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, working along with us in La Côte d'Ivoire was a gentleman called Tony King.
Pause there, please. How do you spell the first name?
Tony. T-O is the divine name. T-O-N-Y-I-A. I want to believe. If it's wrong, we can correct it another day. Working with me outside, and may I just emphasize, Tony went along for some time, but once the Libyan connection was cemented, Tony broke away from us. He no longer participated, but 2 others remain. There's a gentleman called Tom Wuyu. We mentioned that on yesterday. That's W-O-W-E-I-Y-U. And the present president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The 3 of us finally were the individuals that put the MPFL together. So upon leaving Ghana, I had traveled to Paris to meet with Ellen Johnson and Tom Wowoyu in Paris.
And when you say that the current president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, was one of the organizers, in what way did she assist?
Oh, Ellen. Ellen is a whole revolutionary. She's been involved in. She was involved in part with the first MPFL. That was not new to Ellen.
Which first MPFL?
I remember I told the court that the first invasion into Liberia that was launched by General Kuwompa was called the MPFL, and this second, or maybe it's better to say this continuation of the MPFL, Ellen was also a very good part of it. Ellen was also a very close friend of General Kuwompa.
So she was involved in the Kuwompa crew?
Well, I am, when you hear me say she was involved, I will not be able to give you all of the details because I'm sure, from the prosecution questions will come. I was out, but I know she was close to Kuwompa, and the extent of her involvement, if I'm pressed on this, I wouldn't be able to give you the extent, but I do know she was associated with Kuwompa. She associated with the training outside where she knew about it, okay, and she knew about ours. But in my case, she was really involved in helping me financially.
Financially how?
Oh, Ellen raised money throughout while the training was going on. In fact, I had taken the first two picture groups to her in Paris. She had then moved to the United States.
The first two what?
Picture groups. The first group, remember I mentioned here just before the break that the trainees went into groups. The first two groups had gone, and I did mention that in the second group was Moses Blah. We had pictures of these combatants. So I flew into Paris. We met at Orly Airport, in fact, at the Holiday Inn Hotel at Orly Airport, where I was. She came and I showed her the two sets of pictures. She was very, very pleased. And then this was really to convince her that her efforts would not be wasted in what she was doing. And by that I mean she was doing two things. Ellen raised most of the money that we needed for all of this movement in the early stage, and even during combat. And secondly, I now cannot go back to the United States. She is, if I'm not mistaken, is working with a bank somewhere in the Washington, D.C. area, and has tremendous contacts. So we use Ellen to do our so-called diplomatic contacts outside and to raise money.
Now, another name you mentioned was Tom Wowoyu.
That is correct.
Can I inquire whether we have a spelling for that name?
Yes, we do.
Now, do you recall telling us that he was a member of the union, ULAA?
That is correct.
And when did you first come across him?
Oh, I first met Tom in the early 70s, around 1972.
Where?
In the United States when I arrived, and this process of trying to put together the different organizations that I explained to the court in different parts of the United States. Tom was stationed in the state of New Jersey.
In the United States. During this period we're concerned with now, when you're traveling around West Africa to put the MPFL together.
No. Tom made so.
All right, that's the former president of Liberia, isn't it? Ex-president Charles Gangetila. That's Charles Gangetila. But let me go back. Let me go back a little bit. You know, this thing about finger pointing is good when you point it the right way.
Finally were the individuals that put the MPFL together. So second MPFL was put together by those of us. I remember saying to the court, there was a group in La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, working along with us in La Côte d'Ivoire was a gentleman called Tony King.
Pause there, please. How do you spell the first name?
Tony. T-O is the fine name. T-O-N-Y-I-A, I want to believe. If it's wrong, we can correct it on another day. Working with me outside, and may I just emphasize, Tony went along for some time, but once the Libyan connection was cemented, Tony broke away from us. He no longer participated, but two others remain. There's a gentleman called Tom Woweiyu. We mentioned that on yesterday. That's W-O-W-E-I-Y-U. And the present president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The three of us finally were the individuals that put the MPFL together. So upon leaving Ghana, I had traveled to Paris to meet with Ellen Johnson and Tom Woweiyu in Paris.
All right, so we got it there, right? Yes. So we know where or who put us plunged us into this thing, and we're still going through it. Whether it has to do with corruption or whether it has to do with bad governance, you know, people interested in building their mansions, or people interested in stealing our money, $16 billion getting mazed in from the port to go to the Central Bank of Liberia, 25 million USD being misdirected, but then telling us that indeed the 15 or the $25 million was sent to money exchanger in New Cruton. So this is where we have come from. The originality of our problem, the origin of our problem, of our huge problems, let me put it that way, started from these individuals. You heard their names, right? Tom Woweiyu, Mr. Charles Taylor, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. They are the ones that got us in this mess today. All right, let me turn the camera to me, and then we continue from there. And so, before we come back to giving you some feedback from Liberia, let's hear from Professor Patrice Lumumba.
Tragedy, no hygiene in our politics, because Africans had started engaging in theft. In fact, I used to say that African politicians were thieves. Then I went to Uganda and I was told that they are not thieves, they are looters. And when I went to Liberia last week, I was told they are not looters. I was told they are looters on an industrial scale. They would run to the United Kingdom. Tragedy, no hygiene in our politics, because Africans had started engaging in theft. In fact, I used to say that African politicians were thieves. Then I went to Uganda and I was told that they are not thieves, they are looters. And when I went to Liberia last week, I was told they are not looters. I was told they are looters on an industrial scale. That is...
Now, this is the tragedy of Africa today. Tragedy of Liberia. They told Patrice Lumumba that indeed Liberians are no longer looting the resources, but they are looting it on an industrial scale. Meaning, there is no crumbs left for anybody. When they loot it for good. When the diamonds are being looted, they are being looted for good. That the very people that are living around there, in those towns and villages, when those companies are out of there, even for them to get clean water to drink will be difficult. That's what the brother is talking about. Looters on an industrial scale. And that is exactly what is happening in my country. In our country, Liberia. They are looting. That's why I'm appealing to many of you. I will keep asking. Please, in whatever way you can get into help, do not wait for the government. Do not... In fact, stop calling on the government to help. Find whatever local NGO you have on the ground that is making difference, or so. Do your own background investigation and get involved and help your people. When you hear that nurses or maybe midwives are leaving this country and that country, they're going to Liberia to do skill exchange programs, get involved and help. Ask them, how can I help? I'm not going with you, but how can I help? I'm interested in the work that you're doing in my country. Get involved, guys. Because the country is being looted on an industrial scale. If you're not there, you don't even tell. When you want to listen to what views and comments that we are sharing on social media. But when you go on the ground and you interact with the people, when you go on the ground, you meet people and you ask them questions. When you hear stories, sometimes you just want to burst into tears, especially if you don't have to share with everybody that you're meeting. I went to West Point. I went to Soniwe. I went to some part of Corwell. I went to Douala. I went to St. Paul Bridge. And I met people at the bottom there. Those are the people I love to talk to. I want to meet that Oma who is just sitting down, that puppy just sitting down before the house. And perhaps they have nowhere to go. In the morning they wake up, they sit on the seat there. They're there up to evening time. When you go and interact with those people, when you go and ask them questions, maybe sensible questions, and you get their answers, you'll be educated and you will know how things are right now in the country. And so you don't have to sit down and wait for government. And let me encourage you. Whatever it is, whatever project that you believe in, you trust in, and you're seeing people doing it, especially, local NGOs on the ground that are doing it, get involved and help your people. On an industrial scale, that's how our country is being looted. Looted on an industrial scale. Government in, government comes. I mean, from the interim government time, let me start from there. From one interim leader to another, the looting started. I'm not even going to count Mr. Taylor, because we all know how things were anyway. Some of them came under the banner that they are angels and that they can deliver Liberia. Today they're looting this nation. I'm telling you, they are looting the country on an industrial scale. And by the time they get finished, forget it. There's nothing left for the generation to come. Nothing. In 2018, the year had just gone. The last time I was trying to actually put down some of in my own memories with respect to what happened in 2018, and I asking myself whether any of the one I noted, if any of them actually, have to carry more weight than the others. Now let me share with you those things I jotted down. The Eton loans. Those loans, up to now, some people refer to those loans as ghost loans. We don't know the fate of the loaners. We don't even know the fate of the loans. And I flagged that out. Can I say that was the story? That was the story of 2018? The Eton loans? And of course, we started with what? The election of President George Manneh Weah. We started with it. He spoke brilliantly. The speech was well written. And he read it word by word. But was the election of Mr. George Manneh Weah the main story of 2018? I don't know. And then the issue of the Bali Island comes in. That we are going to, or this government or Mr. George Manneh Weah under his presidency, we turn that island into a modern city. Yeah, well, that's what I heard. Could that be the story of the year 2018? Even though the wetlands has been reserved, as far as our ecosystem and managing our ecosystem is concerned, that is a reserved area. But the president said that he's about to turn that into a modern city, maybe a twin city or so. I heard that language before. And then also the killing of one of my colleagues, Tyrone Brown, the killing of that journalist. And up to now, investigation is ongoing, right? Well, could I say that was the story of the year 2018 as well? How he was murdered. The ESC and RC being involved. What about the issue of the private jet? Yes. Bought by our president. First it started that it was a gift. Yes, we heard that. And names started coming up. And some names started coming to deny it. They said no. And here and there, and the leadership continued to say no, it is not owned by the president. One of his friends gave it to him for campaigning or for morale. But today we know definitely that a private jet that we've seen our president, flying from Liberia to another country, so we know now that it is his own property. Could I say that was the story of 2018? The owning of a private jet by the president? Yeah, I know football players are, even those guys that are playing right now, majority of them get their own private jets also. Even the days of something is going on here with my charger. I don't know. I need to sort this out quickly. Even the days he was playing his active football, many players had their own private jets. But probably it was not as important as it is now to own a private jet. Or maybe, could I say that the 14 military hospitals are okay? Story. Could that be the story of 2018? I'm still wondering as well. So all of these stories that I'm reading to you, the airlines, I'm reading which I try to remember them chronologically or either somehow to remember what happened in 2018. Whether I can take any of these to be the main story of the day. Yes, military hospital or 14 military hospital. I don't know. Was it? I don't know. What's about you? What's about the District 13 election violence of 2018? Yes, that was the close of 2018. The violence that took place there. We know, and I can tell you there are hidden stories that I heard when I went to Liberia. About that particular incident. Violence in district number 13. That election violence in which, of course, Major Koji and some of them were involved. There are more stories behind it than what you heard. Could have been the story of 2018? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out. What's about the issue of the 25 million US dollars that was said was infused in the economy by the finance minister in, how do you call it, in Nuclear Town? 25 million USD. You know, I mean, Liberian people, people taking us to bees. I don't know. I really don't know how they're taking us to be, you know. That we are all just stupid and numbed and, you know, we just a bunch of people, or everybody, we are just a bunch of people with water in our heads. And we call it brains, right? Was the $25 million that was said to be to have been infused in the economy, was it the story of 2018? I really don't know. I'm still struggling to find out. What's about rape stories anyway? Sometimes every month, twice. Yeah, not even just raping, but we end up losing the individual. The justice system is just hanging there. I don't even know what is going on with the justice system anyway. But the rape cases or the rape stories, I'm also still struggling to see, can I flag out the rape stories as the most memorable stories of 2018? I'm still struggling as well. And now came in, boom, 16 million Liberian dollars. Sorry, 16 billion Liberian dollars. From the free port of Monrovia in containers. And some of them, according to the finance minister, according to information minister as well, especially the information minister, Some of the monies were taken, were brought in the country by flights, by, ship or so. But 16 billion USD went missing. And today, some of us, when we go to some events, and you come across somebody who is eager to know where you come from, and they ask you, so which country you come from, and you say, I'm from Liberia. The next thing they're asking you, wow, have you found the money? Yes, I've been asked many, many times. Oh, is it a country that $16 billion got missing? Or container of money got missing or so? When you hear these kind of questions and you're standing there right before somebody who hasn't been to Liberia, but they're hearing these kind of stories, you know how you feel like? It's like you just, for me, I feel like I just want to open that ground and let me go inside and move from the person's face. Now, could that be the story of 2018? $16 billion getting missing? And up to now, we are yet to know where are they. And then we also heard the story of West Point Rehabilitation Project. That is to rebuild West Point, modernize it, turn it into a city where anybody can leave from any part of the world to say, I'm going for I'm going for the holiday in Liberia. I'm going to be in West Point. They have 5-star hotels there. They have resource centers there that I can carry my family to go in and enjoy. We also heard that story, that West Point was going to be rehabilitated. Could that be the story of 2018? I'm still struggling as well. A lot of stories, right? Yeah. We heard of the accident that Major Koji's had. That's the mayor, sorry. The Mayor Koji had. In Liberia, you say Major. I got used to it now. In the UK, we say Mayor. And when I was pronouncing it last time in Liberia, somebody said, what are you saying? I said, say the Mayor. And the person said, no, Mayor. I said, okay, that's it. But Mayor Koji's accident, we were also told that huge chunk of money was found in his car. Could that have been the story of 2018? I really don't know. I'm still trying to find out. I don't know. Private jet or whatsoever it is. I really don't know. But let me come down to the other one. There are children, when they're born frisky, they will remain frisky for good. Thank you so much for sharing the video, guys. Thanks for sharing the video. I don't know, I see a lot of comments coming in also. We'll read them. Deputy Minister Eugene Fagon, right? And Senator, is it Senator? Yeah. It's not Senator, but Representative Edwin Snow. They had a fracas as well. That brought an embarrassment, kind of an embarrassment onto the government as well. Well, was it a story of 2018 that you can remember? So these are some of the developments that I actually try to remember for 2018. 2018, but this is it. These are all important issues that we all have a kind of a part to play, and we have the right to comment about them, and we have the right to chip in and give our 1 or 2 cents as well. To own an airplane in any country, to own even these celebrities that buy airplanes also, they're not small money. Primarily, let me put it this way: It's not even the buying of the jet plane you're going to, it's the daily money you have to pay to park that plane anywhere. I'm not talking about you just buy it and just keep it there, or go and park it somewhere also. Paying the rent for that ground where it is parked is even more than you getting on that plane from one country to another. And by the time you reach there again, anywhere you're going to pay for landing. So obviously, let's be honest here. To own a private jet, you got to trust your pocket. You got to get long money. I know we're talking about long money, not even round one. Long money. From the day you sign that paper that this jet plane is for you, it doesn't matter that 2 seats, that 3, that 4, 5. But so long it's for under the aviation authority being recognized as a flying plane, forget it. The day you sign for it, and the day your pocket will start leaking money. It will start leaking money. Every part of it, whether it is just packed for 1 week or so, you have to have people that will be looking after it. They got to get paid. Where it is packed, you have to pay, and they got to charge you as to, per hour or so. When you're flying it, you need a pilot. Maybe and a co-pilot. Not even maybe. You need 2 at least. Flight attendants, that your own private jet, you can even, employ your own concubines or so. That one, left for you, how much you pay them or so. But the pilots, definitely, they are not just going to do the work free anyway. I don't know how many pilots we have in Liberia to fly, to employ them and fly private jets. But even in the context of Africa, where in fact we don't work per hours, sometimes our employers determine how much we should make, not by our qualifications. So it doesn't matter you are a pilot, a trained pilot, flying a private jet, and you underpay, you will still go because you just want job and you want something to keep your family moving. And so those are the issues that I am still concerned with. Majority of those issues that are flagged out, as far as being a citizen of Liberia is concerned, those are the issues I am still concerned with, because they are of reality today. And when we fail to handle them one by one, to take care of them one by one, to resolve the issues, they're going to haunt us even for the next decade. Some of them, decades to come. The reality of them will haunt us. In the case of the $16 billion, let me tell you this. If we don't resolve this issue, if we don't resolve this issue amicably, that is the missing $16 billion, the next generation and generation to come will face the wrath of it. If we don't get a good explanation as to how the $25 million US dollars that is said was infused in the economy was spent, if we don't get a clear understanding of it, if the Liberian people, if the children of Liberia do not get the clear explanation of how this money was spent, generations to come will also feel the wrath of it. Other issues we'll be able to tackle them. The Eaton loans, I have no idea how we're going to have that. You know, where is that loan now, or where are those loans? I have no idea. Even the loaners, I don't even know whether they are after anything or whatever they are after. I learned today, I saw in the newspaper also that, you know, another new company, you know, signed a huge amount, over $200 million gold mining issue. I don't know whether, you know, these are the people that are coming in maybe in a way to fund to get their money back or so. I have no idea. I'm just trying to say something here. I don't know. But the Eaton loans, even that we need to know. Liberian people deserve to know more about these loans. Explain to us more, Your Excellency, about Bali Island, what the project there. By this time now, if I was in that house there, the moment the issue of the Bali Island came up, I would have invited the Minister of State and the Minister of Public Works and possibly the Minister of Agriculture and the Director of EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. These are the people I are going to invite to come and face my community and cross-examine them on the issue of Bali Island. Because I want to know from the beginning, do we have it documented that this particular island is a reserved area? Is a reserved wetland area? Because even where I am here in the United Kingdom, there are certain portions, certain part of wetlands, you don't touch it. You don't touch it. The government don't touch it. Nobody touch it. Certain part of the jungle here where we have huge forests of trees and whatsoever, you don't touch it. So that is it. Well, it's not yet late. Lawmakers, it's not yet late. You can invite these people. Like, yes, this is what the president said. But I want to hear from you. For the sake of the future, we want to know. And you put your questions together about this Bali Island. It's not just about somebody coming out and say that I want to build, 20, 15, 50 skyscrapers here or so. It's not all about that. But is that portion of the land is it under the banner of being reserved, a protected area? Is it? Call, invite the Minister of State. Because in Africa, or especially Liberia also, I've never seen any, I don't know, I don't know if you have any idea, you can share this with me. What I've never seen from Samuel Kanyado time, the Charles Taylor time, I'm telling you my own time that I saw leadership anyway. Samuel Kanyado and Charles Taylor, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President Joshua. I've never seen lawmakers inviting president to cross-examine president. I see prime minister facing the house here every day. Yeah, facing committees here every day. facing the speaker and the cabinet and lawmakers every day to cross-examine her. I can see that. But I'm not seeing that happen. So let me put it this way, that invite the Minister of State, invite the Public Works Minister, invite the EPA Director, that is the Environmental Protection Agency Director, maybe Mines and Energy as well. Yeah. Ministry of Agriculture as well. Invite these people. If you can even invite them one by one, fine. Or you invite them, all of them at once, and you cross-examine them, ask them about Bali Island. What do they know about this place? Give them some tough questions as well. If that place is to remain, if that Bali Island, if that environment part of Liberia is to remain protected, you, the lawmaker, you can deny the executive the right to go ahead to have any project there. I say, Mr. President, thank you for the recommendation. But because of this, and having heard from these people, from these ministries or so, can you find somewhere else for this project? Think about the future. There are other countries people are planning for the next 30 years. Yes. And so those are the issues that we continue to trend for 2019. Don't lie, don't escape it. These issues that flex out, most of them will continue to trend in 2019. Probably beyond. Someone told me that today, Monday, we're supposed to hear the outcome of the $16 billion investigation. That's what I heard. I keep looking for means as to how I can get this information. Not yet. Well, I'm just trying to actually somehow trying to compare with where we are, right? A president, a prime minister can be invited anytime by the lawmakers. So I'm just trying to remind them that yes, in as much as what you're saying could be of reality, but it's still they still have that power to invite the president. They still have the power, but will the speaker, the current speaker, ever stand out to say yes, this is it? Let's invite the president on this issue. Or we're not satisfied with this. We want to find out. It's not going to be an easy task for such a invitation to be extended to the president of Liberia. All right, I'm going to take a short break. When I come now, we're going to go back. I'm going to take you back now to my visit to Liberia. But what's Liberia like this? Things are how. Welcome all the way there from Malawi. Natasha, happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for following always. And so, yes, I went to Liberia. The people say there is no place like home. I went to Liberia. Thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you. I appreciate that. All the way there from Malawi, just stepping in the house. They call her Mama Africa organization, working with young women, empowering young women there across Malawi. Thank you so much. Hopefully we will have you on the show, on the Max K talk show later this year. In the next couple of weeks, we'll try to make a schedule so you can come and share with us about your project there in Malawi. Thank you so much. Yes, I left from here. I went to Liberia, as usual. I'm in Liberia at least twice a year. The reason I have to go there is because, or twice a year, the reason I have to go back twice a year is because I just don't want to sit and talk. I want to be on the ground, see for myself and try to help in whatever weak way I can be able to do. Yes, I went to Liberia. My visit, actually, when I was there, although I had some family issue or so, but thank God we were able to resolve that. Good evening or good morning, Amos Joyce. Happy New Year once again. First of all, let me appreciate all of you that joined in when we made an appeal somewhere around September. We wanted to have a Christmas party for the disabled and person with albinism. In Liberia, they refer to them as albinos. We appeal to you to join in, and so we could have this together. Aku Joseph Koma, thank you. He was one of those contributor. You guys that came in and made your contribution, we got the total of $270. Our budget for the Christmas party actually was at least $1,005, and after a month or 9 weeks appealed, we got I won't use the word only, we got $270 from you people, and we appreciate you guys so much. Oh yeah, Dwayne, Natasha, you know, she been following this my programs, you know, for many years now, and we've been friends for many years. You've been on the Max K talk show at least, I think, once or twice, but you know, most of the time even I'm talking about Liberia, but she will sit there all the way there in Malawi and just, you know, following the program, not even just following, but she will begin to press the button, like or love. So we appreciate her so much. In fact, she's selling she's selling our brands all the way there in Malawi, to be honest. Yeah. So thank you for thanking her as well, Dwe. And so we went to Liberia. Our first priority was to have that program. The main aim of the program. Thank you so much. That's Samuel Udwali. Thank you for the love and likes. The main aim of this program is to create an avenue where we can raise the profile of the disabled people and person with albinism. Our thought was that when we have this program, you know, and inviting, you know, people of authority, including the president and the first lady, that when we invite them there and these communities having to speak out and look in their faces and tell them what is happening within the albinos community, what is happening within the disabled community, and they voice out to them face to face, maybe they will be able to wake up and do something. So that's the main aim of this program. Now, before I left, by November, let me put it that way, yes, I did all the letters and I wired them to email back home to the coordinator of my foundation, and of course, the other guys who were working together, including the albinos representative of working with the organization Stand Out by Dr. Precious, to also based here in the UK. Those letters, what happened was that the letters, some of them were delivered. The lead person now helping to deliver the letter is the secretary for the Max Kpakio Educational Foundation, my foundation. She is mobile, so we thought that maybe since she can drive, she can move around, it will be easy to do follow-up, because this is a country that when you drop a letter at the ministry, at that agency, you have to walk back there to go do a follow-up. There's no means of postal system of them getting back to you. If they say they're going to call you, nobody will call you. There's no emailing system that somebody will say, oh, we'll send you a reply in your email also. It doesn't work like that. When I read Thomas Awaji as the Minister of Commerce and inviting Mr. Thomas Awaji to the program, I will have to take a copy of that letter after perhaps they will come out and tell me, when I deliver the letter, they will tell me, say, okay, the chief, come and do follow-up after 1 week. So obviously, first of all, I have to keep copy of that letter that we have addressed to Mr. Thomas Awaji. If I'm going to do the follow-up after the 1 week, I will have to take that letter. And somebody will take a look of the letter and try to trace the original letter. If they found it, if there's any action being taken or so marked by the minister, Thomas Awaji, then the person will follow. Maybe that would be the SA, that's the special assistant or so, will then tell you what to do. But you tell me now, and this is the system, because it happened to me many times. Yeah. If you don't have mobile, and maybe you don't have the means of transportation, you drop this letter to this ministry. They will tell you, go come on this day, but then that day you will go, they will tell you, say, the minister not in, oh, no result here, go and come back tomorrow. And sometimes that tomorrow will take you another week. You'll be going back and forth. So it's one thing to think about having a program and thinking about inviting people. But the next trouble is to get their consent by virtue of you doing a follow-up on your foot. And so we dropped some of the letters. Alberta, her name is, was able. They dropped some of the letters, but unfortunately, there was no follow-up done because she fell ill. That took her almost close to the Christmas. So there was nobody to do follow-up because the other guys on board, none of them can drive, and we never have extra cash to say this one for transportation or so. And transportation now in Liberia, forget about the gasoline price, they're talking about it calm down. They say it will calm down, but the price of the taxi is going up. So when they never did a follow-up until I went back home, called over the phone and talked to them and said, well, Max, the only thing we have to do, we have to think about postponing the program. It can be possible now for Christmas because Christmas is just here, a couple of weeks, 2 weeks from now or so. It's impossible to have the program, especially if you want the people that we wrote already. We didn't do any follow-up. We don't know if they're coming. They don't even know. that we still have in the program as well. So we can't have the program without them being there. So we have to rethink again. And so I'm explaining this to you because I like to do my thing on a transparent basis. You pay your money, $270, that's my money. That in fact, that money includes my contribution as well. So if I take a mile from there, it's even lower. And so you pay your money, whatever you paid, $5, that's plenty of money. For me, even $1, that's plenty of money. Oh, when somebody gave for a charitable cause, that's plenty of money. I don't play with it. And so then we decided, okay, but then let's have the meeting before I go. And we chose the date that we should have the meeting on the 3rd of December. Some of you saw the pictures. We had a meeting. Suggestions came up that we should push the program to this year during the Easter celebration. I think it's in April. That we should push it up to during that time. That whether I will be on the ground or not, the program will go ahead. So we had a meeting, was successful. So right now, they are to also have the meeting there, as I told them, because they need to come up with a date. It shouldn't be on the, closed, maybe on the day of the Easter Sunday or Monday or so. But during that time, fine. The venue will remain the same. The mission of hope for the disabled compound. And so they promised that they will get back to me as soon as possible. So I'm just waiting for me to hear results with respect to the date that we are now anticipating having this program. The two organizations, that is, for some of you now that are already on board of the Max Kpakio Educational Foundation, our organization, and Dr. Precious Tools organization, which is Stand Out, mainly purely for albinos welfare's rights. It is these two organizations actually that's supposed to bear the bulk of the burden in terms of spending money to have the event. So the target was 1,500. Let's put it that way. We got $270. So the rest of the money was supposed to be, was supposed to be coming from us, or is supposed to be coming from us anyway. So that's how the program is. I am waiting to hear from them. As soon as I hear from them, I will come back to you people and let you know, because those of you that pay your $1, those of you that pay your $5 and above, I personally still owe you. And this initiative owe you. So I will keep you up to date with respect to this. Whatever results that are going to come out, I will get back to you. So this is how the whole Christmas party thing, this is what happened, and these are the reasons that we never had it at all. And then I started doing my bits and pieces. I was here in the UK, and we started seeing the pictures of construction by the president of Liberia. I had it at the back of my head that if I go to Liberia, I will have to visit these places, because maybe whether it's just social media stories or fake news or so, but I want to go on the ground and see for myself. And so the first place I decided to go was to go and see the Jamaica or Jamaican resorts. Accordingly, that place is an entertainment place built by the president. So I drove there, and it's kind of down the bottom of the hill. And you can see there's a creek behind it as well, I think, yeah, river also. So I drove down and I got very close to the compound. But to be honest, the height of the compound, it's hard to see building in there. As of now, if you see any picture of the Jamaican resource, either somebody took it using other technologies or so, but not just standing outside and you take a picture, no. And as I drove down, they passed the main gate to enter. And I wanted to go down because I could see a road going down, but very close to the ends of the fence and I think there's a river also. I wanted to go at the back, but then the security stopped me and came to my car, put the window down, and he said, where are you going? I said, well, to be honest with you, I heard of this place here. They say it's referred to as a Jamaican resource area. So I came to cool myself off, just to buy some, maybe sit down there, buy some juices and take it in. And then the security said, no, it's not open to the public. It's only for the president, and whosoever he brings here also for their amusement. I said, oh, really? I said, oh, okay. That's okay, but then can I drive and go at the back of it? He said, no. And the security was quite honest. He told me, he said, well, to be honest with you, we saw you late, but you couldn't even reach, it's forbidden for you to even reach to the point you reached there with your car. I said, oh, really? But this is my president, this is my president's, amusement area. Even though you're saying now it's not open to the public, but I think it's supposed to be open to the public. That if the president is not here, other people can come here and buy stuff, sit down, because you have bars, you got swimming area and whatsoever, and just have fun time. But how can you say that it's even forbidden? Then the security say, yeah, of course, yeah, it is. So anyway, I try to play on him as well. I say, I asked him, I said, okay, please, okay, can you just do me a favor? We've been hearing about this particular area. The fence is too high. We can see inside, or I can see there. Is it possible just to go inside? Let me just stay in front of the house or those buildings and take a picture. Just let me bluff with my president's stuff and thing. And then the guy just laughed at me and said, man, you won't put me in trouble. You won't take my eating from me. By the time he said that, I said, oh, okay. I said to myself, I said, well, this is it now. I don't think this guy could allow me. So he said, no, it will not happen, my brother. Yeah, let's just leave that one. Nobody is allowed in there. So I said, okay. And then I asked him, I said, okay. And what about another area that's around here? They say where the president built in the church. He said, oh, yeah. And then he was able to actually direct me there. Upstate Baptist Seminary, somewhere in Drazon. And then I got in my car. That was the eve of New Year. So I was actually making the move on the very blessed day. Let me be very frank with you, because hearing the security man telling me that the point I reached the car, I was not going to reach there if they have spotted me early. That means I was just blessed on that day. And so, New Year Eve, we're preparing for the watch night, and I followed the direction I went. I drove through. First of all, I was scared. I wasn't too sure whether the securities are going to allow me around there, because this is the same compound that you see those big houses built. So I drove first. I passed, looking on the side and trying to see what's going on and thing. And I came back. And I just briefly, I said, no, let me just stop now. So I stopped, I got off, and I went to, the other guys, people were doing different things. And I just went and engaged somebody. I said, well, I spoke to them nicely and responded as well, and introduced myself. And then from there, I asked, I say, what is going on here? And the fellow said, we're having a watch night tonight, and the church will also be. This is the President Church, the church he built. If you ever heard of it, we're going to have a watch night tonight, and the church will be dedicated as well tonight. Then I asked him quickly. I said, "Oh, is it going to be open to the public?" And then he said, "Oh yeah, it will be open to the public tonight." I said, "Oh, okay. So that means anybody can come." And he said, "Yeah." I said, "In fact, you person, you're a journalist. You can even come and cover the program." I said, "Oh, okay, good." And then we made friends there. I said, "Okay, can I go in the church, just take a picture or so?" There, he told me, he said, "Well, to be honest, it's only because the church has been dedicated tonight, and from now on, it's kind of a for the public, but we normally don't allow anybody around here." I said, "Oh, really? Why?" He said, "Well, for security reason." I said, "Okay. So long as there's security reason, that's it. There's no other way I can ask any further question." And so went inside, took one or two pictures, came outside, took pictures, and then looking on because facing the church this way, looking on my right, I saw the huge part of those houses I've been seeing on Facebook, on social media. I said, "Oh, okay, so these houses are actually true." Now, I have already verified that the Jamaican resort is true. What I saw on Facebook, that is exactly what is there, including the fence, how it's painted. And then the houses, though, December, most of the pictures that were released in December, they were actually in 3Ds. Yeah, and 3Ds, I mean, can make building really, really, good. But when I went there, I saw it, I tried to match what I saw on Facebook, on social media, in the 3Ds form. I just concluded out, these are the buildings also. So I asked, "Can I take a picture of the buildings also?" The fellow was hesitant. He said, "Well, not really, except, but anyway, for now, I will allow you today." Then I went beyond. I went beyond the scope. I asked the gentleman, I said, "Okay, but," they said, "Okay, if you can escort me, we go inside the compound there," because it's all in a half fence as well. Very, very tall fence. I say, "Can we go in there? Let me just see around. Let me take a picture there, standing in front of the building also." He said, first of all, the fellow laughed. I don't know why he laughed. But he laughed and he said, "Well, no, that one, but I can't do it, buddy. It's not possible. It's not really, really possible for me to go open the fence and think and say it's not possible. You can stay here, yeah, you can take a picture and whatever, fine." So I stood there. A friend was there. I stood there, took my picture with the background and everything. So, and then I asked about the time for the watch night, and I was told the time, and I decided to go to 9th Street. I went to 9th Street, where the president's original house, when he was playing football, where he built. Remember the house those days when I think Ghana, Nigeria also, or Liberia, Nigeria also played, and Liberia should have been qualified to go for World Cup, and something happened, and people went and vandalized that house. That's the house. It built some kind of, funny Ghanaian way. So I decided to go and see, because that too we have seen how it is now being reconstructed or so. So I went to see there, and that too, very busy. Workers were on the ground. Nobody's allowed in the compound. I drove around, took some pictures, tried to engage some people who were working there, and I wanted to enter the compound to just see the good work of our president or so. That's how I put it all. They also said, "No, we advised that the public is not allowed in here." So I couldn't enter, but actually that funny looking Ghana house is no longer a looking funny Ghana house. There's now several houses in there. Transformed, modernized, and the construction is almost done as well. And took a rest, preparing for the watch night, and I went a bit early, set up my camera. Some of you saw me live there, and a huge number of people outside, inside the house. They put speakers outside for people, because the church. To be honest with you, I mean, when I came outside after the church, when I came outside, the people I saw outside were more than it, because the capacity of the church is not that anyway. It's not that huge, but in terms of collection, if everybody can pay $10,000 US, that's not small money. Let me put it that way. Anyway, but the volume of people that I saw outside were huge anyway. So there was huge turnout to the dedication and of Fokiklong Church, and of course the watch night. Description of what I saw there that night. I saw an array of few government officials. I'm not going to name who was there. And then I saw a good atmosphere of people. There's nothing to judge here, but I saw people who were actually praying that night, who quoted the Bible verses, and who actually preached that night. That most of them, right after the church, people were asking them questions whether they meant what they say on the pulpit. I listened to the finance minister, and I can tell you, I think the finance minister will be the assistant pastor of that church, because he delivered a brilliant sermon that night, just before the president came up. Oh, I don't know, he's a pastor. Okay, well, I'm talking about this church now, so we have to call him, is it deacon or pastor or reverend? I have no idea yet. Maybe he'll soon be a reverend doctor, because he's a doctor now, so he'll be reverend. And but when the finance minister spoke, everything that he said there was attached to the Bible, to the gospel. And I could see a mixed reaction in the church. Apparently, I think there were two different versions of people in that church that night. People who just went to see the church and to actually see the happenings there. And those who were actually attached to the church. And for them, their being there is a matter of importance. And so those that went there, from my own analysis, those that went there to just see to be part of the atmosphere, but not really connected to the church, they were the one I actually was able to spot out a little bit quicker, and I kept my eyes on them because I wanted to see the reaction from them relative to those that are standing on the pulpits, including the Reverend Dr. Weir himself. And there came a time when let me come back, when the finance minister took the pulpit. I think he spoke about 10 minutes or so. But the reaction from those that I'm talking about, I only went there to see the atmosphere, for them to actually grasp what was going on there, was kind of you could tell that they were there in the form of not really in support of what some of them were saying. So for every time he says something, which of course is not even relative to his own life or the way he's living, you can see the smiles, you can see, some people bending their head down with laughter. So I saw that in the church. I saw that with the president as well. reaction from those people when the Reverend Dr. Joshua took the pulpit. And he's not being confirmed, but because he's already a doctor, I'm just trying to add my own title there. A Reverend Doctor, because he preached that night, and he preached the gospel of Matthew 24, isn't it? There are others I saw there that I don't want to talk about them anyway, especially some of them. And there came a point in time for, how do you call it, testimonies. Liberia is an interesting country. And the preacher asked for testimonies. I think they asked for about 4 people. They recognized about 4 people. But I'm going to talk about my sister, because she's my sister, who's from the same county, from the same trouble background. I'm going to talk about my sister Fina. Fina took the pulpit and grabbed the microphone. Not really pulpit. She didn't go on the pulpit, but she grabbed the microphone. She gave her testimony. First of all, she started with a beautiful song. And my eyes were between, based on what I've been hearing, my eyes was actually between her and the pastor of the church, Reverend Dr. George Weir. And when Fina grabbed the mic, she sang and then she started, I said more like her testimony was in song, and thanking God for taking her from where she down where she was and now up somewhere. And I could see the joy, the reaction, the celebration from Reverend Dr. George Weir, sharing with Nathaniel McGill. I think that was very close to him. That joy was it was a different celebration at that aspect. I see everybody, when I look on the other side or so, when people eyes the same way, my eyes were just swinging between the lady who holding the mic and the president. That's the same way other people's eyes were swinging around as well. And it was an atmosphere of some kind of a celebration of going on. And then who came up later? It was I think she was called first. In fact, they called her name to give testimony. That was Youngblood, Representative Youngblood. She gave a testimony about her health and thanking people who've been praying for her and thanking God for the strength. And so any church that night, that's how it was. And one photograph that actually making a story now, right after the church, because I was there that night, up to that morning. I left from there about 1 o'clock or 1:10 or so. Because when I got outside, I was talking to people. The photograph that made the story for that night, actually nobody thought they were going to make history. I took one of it, and I have not published it. I have not sent it, shared it. But it's already on social media. It's the photograph that Kalasco, the special aide for the president, and the president are holding hands in the church there. That photograph actually up to now is making headway on the social media. And so that was the atmosphere and how things were like in Fokiklong, Jalale. Jalale, please forgive me, family worship center. Came outside, talked to people, and well, we celebrated together. I left, I drove saw a bit of the city that morning, how because churches were off and people in the street trying to go home and things. I wanted to just have a gist of the New Year. In fact, we're by that time now in the New Year now. Now the people were coming in the New Year. So that is it. That's how that aspect ended. And 2 days after I went in the street, I wanted to speak to Liberians and find out from them about the War and Economic Crimes Code, what are their thoughts or so. And I went on Broad Street, I went on Macklin Street, basic area as well between Finance and Old Education Ministry. At the back of it, by CSA, that's the Civil Service Agency. I spoke to a lot of people, and some of you saw me live. And what I gathered there from the people I spoke with, a lot of Liberians actually want the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code for Liberia. And all of them keep saying, even the older people, they keep saying that we have to teach people lessons now so that the Baba thing that happened yesterday, so it can't happen again. So our children then can pick up and say good. So all of them were talking about, along the line of deterrent. Take a step today to prevent reoccurrence. So I spoke to a cross section of people. I did a video, but I did part of that video as well on the video. I have to load onto YouTube. So one of these is up already. Another one will be coming soon. And so from the views and comments from Liberians, they actually want the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code. That's what I gathered. That didn't leave me there alone. The next day, I went to Claratown. I was invited to give a talk. I talked there to the Ataye Center, Intellectual Center. The following day, I went back to see the Claratown Road. And I went to see the monument. Some of you saw that on my page as well. And I talked to people. I was also interested to talk to people about War and Economic Crimes Code. In fact, I actually spoke to a cross-section of a generation from one to another. People representing age level. And even our grandmothers are there that I spoke with, and our mothers, our aunties, our grandfathers that I spoke with. They all express the same emotions. And they want the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code for Liberia. All of them on the same line. And some of them even started bringing out story about corruption. Like if we don't bring people right now to punishment, those that actually cause harm, that cause this nation what it is today, that if we don't bring them to book today, the next generation will still going to feel that these things are good to do. You can get a job through it. And so majority of them are also against what happened yesterday, and they want people to be punished as well. I went around the city. I made an attempt to go to Newtown. I didn't go way inside. I got there. I tried to talk to a few money exchangers, but majority of them refused. I didn't want to be on camera because I actually wanted to do a Facebook Live, but the 4 people I wanted to talk with at that time, money exchangers, they said that they didn't want to be on camera. So we talk off record. And I asked them questions. The 4 of them, I said, I don't have anything. There's no recording, nothing. Let's just keep conversation. Probably from this chat here, I can't even call it interview from this chat. Even if I see you tomorrow, I will not even know you also. And say, the young guys. And I started off by asking them as to individually how old were they in 1990. One of them told me he was about 11 years old. I think two actually told me they were about 11 years old. The other two, one of them said that he was 13, and another one said he was 14. And the next question was, did they ever take part in the war? Did they fight? Among the four of them, three of them admitted that yes, they fought. One fought for MPFL, and the other two fought for IMPFL. And then before I came in, about the money, I asked them how long they've been changing money. I said, well, some of them, in fact, all of them, they said, well, be better. Right now, since after the war, since after the election, Madam Ellen Johnson said he came and was nothing doing, no school, no way to go back to school. So we just here hustling. And then I asked them how, first of all, I wanted to lay the ground. How would they feel, as young as they are, they still got a future ahead of them? How would they feel if the issue of corruption is not well handled in Liberia? And people just taking the country money and using it on their own. All of them, the four of them said, well, be better. They blow air right now. The way things are going on in our country, they're not correct. Somehow we're not even supposed to be here changing money. Maybe somehow now we're finished with college, we're finished with university. We're supposed to be working as technician, some the Google areas and things. But we're not here because there's no other means. I said the way people are eating our money, our nation money, is not correct. I just wanted to establish the ground thread, to move from one scenario to another, so that by the time you get to the main question, you give the person confidence to answer. And then I asked them about the $16 billion. I said, whether you agree or not that this money is missing, but the first day you heard that money was missing, whether it's $9 billion, whether it's $10 billion, but it belongs to the government. When you heard that this money got missing, what was your initial feelings like? Individually, I want you guys to answer. And I can tell you, fellow Liberians that are listening to me right now, these young guys, they said, if I can summarize all of them, that they were very disappointed in hearing about something like that. That they couldn't believe the story. That $16 billion was missing just between the port and the Central Bank of Liberia. And I asked them as to what did they want to see at the end of it. They said, well, we just want the investigation to come out. Let's know who are involved in the money business. If truly the money get missing, anybody involved, let them pay for it, let them go to jail, let's take their properties, sell their property and take the money, put it back in the government. If they can't pay the rest, we'll put them to jail. So they all gave answers like that. And I asked them about the $25 million now. I came and I just asked them, I said, well, all of us now, I live abroad, many Liberians living abroad, but we all hear about a story that $25 million, he said the finance minister said, and I'm quoting him, that 25 million Liberian dollars was sent here, part of Nuclear Town as well, and give it to you guys to help them change this money so that you can boost the economy. The four of you, anybody know about this story? And they all say, oh yeah, we heard about it. What's it about? We heard about the story. Okay, what do you know about the story? The first guy shouted, is it Bibera? I think the people selling our country. Then the guy said, yeah, that's not true, my man. People say in our country. All of them wanted to talk now. And I gave them chance. One after another, they expressed their deep concerns. One by one. They denied. And not a day they saw anybody from the foreign or from the finance ministry to meet them in the street there. And those guys then say, for me, I've been here even the last time when they're talking about say we move from changing money. We still used to come here with black hair with our small bags. We don't put no table down. We be around because sometimes the police there used to come around and whatsoever. They say sends them up to this present until I heard about this money. We were still hiding to change money, and they tell us to go register. And the money they pay, they told us to go pay to register. The money too much. Some of us don't even have the capital. We're sitting out here, we're helping some people, we're helping some of our family people then. Just for us to get someone attending at the end of the day to go eat. They denied. These four guys, they denied they ever received 1 cent from the finance minister from the $25 million that you're talking about. They all denied. And they regretted hearing such a news. That's what they said. That they regretted hearing such a news from a minister who's supposed to be controlling the money of the country. The monetary aspect. I asked them again, what do they want to see about it? What do they want to see in this particular news? They said, well, this year it might not even end here. It might go to big court. Some of them said, we might go to international court so the people can go and judge them. Because our country money here, the poker player, we're suffering. Some of them talking and say, we're suffering here. How can the people continue to lie to us? $25 million, you think when we're coming to give it to all here, will be like this here? Those all that still saying now here or whatsoever. And some of them say, not even possible. No government will give you money like that to just come and give you. They don't even know your address. They don't know your home. They don't know how to find you and think. How they will just come and give you $10,000 and say, go change it. And they say, do business way after 1 month or 2-3 weeks that they're coming for it. Somebody don't know your address, they don't know your house, they don't know your man, they don't know your pa, and they'll come and get you that kind of money. You say, Bibero, you yourself low into that thing, whether that's true. I say, well, me, I want the kid to find out. So my fellow citizens, the news about the $25 million, let's continue to keep asking, yeah. Let's continue to ask. Somebody got the right answer. And they should provide it. They must provide it. I'm not going to rest. I'm not going to be resting. I'm going back in April. And I'll make sure I'll go back to New Grutan. I'll try my best to convince some of them for me to have them live on Facebook. So you can hear from them. But this is what I gathered there. That this issue of the $25 million that was infused in the economy by the finance minister in New Grutan, in that part of Liberia, in that part of Monserrate County, according to the 4 guys I spoke with, is false and misleading. Somebody somewhere is sitting on that money. They must tell us. All right. I spoke to several. I think about 2 schools. I went to do motivational talks as well, and from there I went to several attire centers. So I've gone to Bon County, but unfortunately, due to some family pressure, I didn't go this trip. I was also waited there by the Banga Intellectual Centers for me to go and talk there, but I couldn't go. I have to postpone it now to this April when I go back, and some other attire centers as well, and some other schools. that I didn't go to. Hopefully April, if I go before they close for Easter, I will go and motivate the kids and talk to the kids as well. But the visit was okay in a way, but I can tell you that there are huge challenges. Huge challenges in terms of life for the common people. Let me share this with you. I saw because I live in the community of where the president is and the former vice president, rehab community. I'm not too far from the president's area. What I saw there is the whole rehab now is like all the alleyways, they are opening them. Some of them they finish with them. They put in cement. They grater them and put the waterways on the side and put the cement in between. So the roads, that connectivity is good, similar to what they did what they did in Claretown. I saw a lot of other ways actually, because you heard from the president. I think on the night of the church, on the watch night, he reiterated by saying that he is very proud that he is connecting Mosorado County, meaning he's opening those alleyways within Mosorado County. So he's very proud of what he's doing by linking communities in Mosorado County. And of course, that aspect, I don't know whether it's a blueprint that this president is working on from the past government or so, but we all know now that well, they are 100% taking the credits. But let me put it that way: that on our side, as I've seen a great deal of alleyways being opened, which for me personally I'm really happy of. Most of the alleyways during rainy season time, you hardly, you find it impossible for small car to pass through because of the way the roads are as well. So I am glad seeing them. The last time, first of all, during the election time, or just before the election, when I went back to when I was in Liberia, the road from Bannersville Junction all the way inside is about completed, but a chunk of it actually is really good. That is, when you go inside Bannersville a little bit now, or you leave Bannersville Estate and you get to Kaba, from there all the way to Kawe now, the road, the last time I was there, even my Jeep couldn't pass there. But now it's like, you can drive past, on any speed or so when you go, because there's no speed mark. Sorry, I'm saying that. There's no road marks. There's no speed checks there also. Speed control. So, but the road is open from Kaba Junction, that's Bannersville Kaba Junction, all the way to Kawe now. You can drive and go through. It's paved. It's brilliant. It's finished. It's done. It's okay. And yeah, couple of alleyways are now opened. And I must admit, I must appreciate, even if the blueprint was started by the Ellen Johnson administrations, I want to commend the George Weah administration for completing these roads, these particular alleyways as well. We just want to admonish them to continue with the projects and open all the alleyways also. And especially for those that built on the alleyways as well. You knew very, very well that when they were selling this particular land to you, I think they told you that there's a road here, government set here. Some of you built on that road. You built your fence on the alleyways. Today, it's a big problem. Your place gave way for the alleyways to be opened. The community behind you, they also deserve for a car to reach to their house, for their children to have easy access to go to school. You need to break your fence. Agree to break your fence so that the road can pass through. Because that's the biggest problem we're having right now in Liberia. So I saw that aspect. I want to say thank you. Electricity. Probably we need to prioritize electricity. Let's give it to a private entity. Our own people that are there, they are not doing well. This is why you see a lot of demonstration going on, protests going on from community to community. People will pay for their meters. You go and pay for your meter for it to come and be installed in your house. You will take a year or two. Nobody get time for you to come and install your meter. What about you've gone to LEC, you're feeling paying your money, $150, $200 or so. And somebody sitting there, nobody get time to come to your house to install the meter. And the government is losing revenue every day. Because once that person got that meter in their house, they will have to make sure that they put money in it to have electricity. To have electricity. But nobody. LEC, you got to wake up. The people are cowards. I mean, they don't have to come in the street to protest, to block the road before you go and give them electricity. No. People of New Georgia, they shouldn't come in the street before you give them electricity. It shouldn't be that way. Because most of the areas I'm calling now, I'm telling you the truth. People pay for their people individually. They went and paid for their meters to come and be installed in their homes also. People just took their money. I don't know. The administration also took their money also. They keep promising. 1 year, 2 years. Some of them are there. You'll meet somebody will tell you, say, oh, 3 years now I've been waiting. My meter stay with them. This is not fair. The government is losing revenue every day. Why are you also punishing your own citizens like this? Then today, when the community get together and they protest and they block the road, they inconvenience other people. That's the only time. Or police go there to bring fight and thing. That's the only time the LEC will wake up and say, oh, we're giving them, we're going to enforce our work there to give them electricity. It shouldn't be this way. I drove in Conway the last time. Some of you guys saw me. So dark. And I can tell you, in terms of LEC and providing the provision for people to actually feel secure at night, the most wasteful part of Liberia I've ever seen is in Kawe. I don't know whether we got those light poles free of charge. I don't know whether we got them because the one we've got a solar panel on top of them. I don't know if we got them free, but I'm telling you, the poles, those light poles in Coward, on the main Coward Road, they are so close to each other like this. I saw it as a wasteful venture. They are now on. They have not been on for ages. They're just there. But even in the future, if we come in to actually regenerate them, I think we have to uproot some of them and carry to different communities. Because the lepers are just close to each other like this. Side by side, they just close to each other like this. We're wasting money we don't have already. Why should we waste the small that we have? I saw that there, and I want to call on the authority. Let's forget it. Please go and uproot some of them and carry to Somalia Drive. Yes, from Freeport to Somalia Drive, carry there and go plant them there. They will be very useful there. I don't know who actually led that other project to plant those street lights like that, so close to each other, side by side on the roadside, and then close to each other on the same side. No. The Somalia Drive. Let me come to the Somalia Drive area, and I I went try to see the Minister of Public Works. Unfortunately, I was in labor. I drove there. I always drive in there. The road from, I can say from Red Line, I think from somewhere around 72nd Junction, coming towards Freeport. One side of it is I can say near incomplete, and the other one too is almost well, maybe before the rainy season this year we might finish. We have the road, but this is what I observed there. On the side of the road, they are planting flowers. Sorry, they are planting flowers. You know those short way, the multicolors leaf flowers we have. Sometimes we plant it close to our houses or so in Liberia. Those are the flowers they are planting by the roadside. And I was that actually touched me the last time. When we are facing the era of climate change, this is the time to start planting trees, not flower. You don't plant flower on that kind of a stretched road. Plant trees. Minister of Public Works, I didn't have the chance to see the minister, but this is it. I want to use this medium to call upon you. That project, uproot those flowers. Those flowers will not do anything. Will not give us shade. It will not beautify the environment. Those flowers will not give us fresh air, our people fresh air in our community. The flowers will not feed Monrovia a little bit. If you plant trees, they will be better off. The trees will save the road. The trees will save the environment. The trees will also help your people and give them fresh air in the area there. No flowers. Uproot those flowers. Those flowers are not supposed to be there. Man, you people come abroad, you're laying all the book, you stay here, you see how people transform their cities also. Where in the Western world now, even in some part of Africa, where will you go now and see people planting flowers, on the roadsides or so? What's the benefit of flower? Flowers should be planted by your, it should be planted in your garden, by your house. In garden for some people say, they're not garden for you to go plant cassava or so. Garden means your yard. Flowers should be planted there, not by the roadside. This stretch of road, especially from Red Light all the way to Freeport, in the next 5 years, we should have trees standing up there. In the next 10 years, we should have trees standing there, supporting our breeding system, supporting our environment there. There's nowhere a flower tree, those short flower tree would provide us, the kind of security that we need in terms of, providing the fresh air that we need. No, even in terms of whether it's heavy wind time or so, those flowers can't block the wind from reaching to any house or so. No, the trees well. Mr. Public Works Minister, please. Then I didn't see you are going April again. I will make the one now this time now going for long. I will try hard. I will see you and put the suggestion on your board. You don't plant flowers like that. If you got a road like we have like Stephen Tower Estate, where we have the little circle in between there, like a park or so, you can go and plant flowers, those small flowers there, and to beautify the place, the sitting place, the park there. That's good. You can plant trees there. But when you have a road of that nature, two sides cars will be going so, coming so, and whatsoever. People will be crossing and whatsoever. We have trees like those trees that we have on Broad Street. You know, I don't know where, you know, where we got those trees from. I don't know. But if government yesterday ever bought those trees, the government now, Ministry of Public Works, we begging you, go wherever those trees were bought, go in our country, buy them, let's come and plant them. If we can get them, you know, I don't know, I'm not quite sure they are forest trees, whether we have them in the forest or so. If we do, then bargain, there. Go and uproot and come and plant it. We seeing here, when America or Australia also, when they're building the road, as they start that road, they're planting trees. The moment they start that road, they're planting trees. They've been knowing where all they want to put one tree. When a university is extending and building a new structure, they already start to plant trees. By the time the construction is finishing, by the time you're finishing with the road, that the trees are already ready to breathe. If people travel, some of y'all say you get your engineering degree from abroad and whatever. Everything you learn in the classroom, you go now to go implement it. You don't want you just pay deaf ear. Now what I had to call him Professor Patrice Lumumba. That's what he's saying. I mean, every year we put out we in all our universities across Africa we put up engineers, but our roads are not built by our engineers, but rather they are built by Chinese, Japanese. And maybe that one thing you're here in Liberia if I go, maybe they will charge me for vandalism. But if I go, I will try my best to meet the public works minister to suggest to him that we need to replace those flowers with proper trees. When they don't listen to me, I will go uproot them. Well, maybe I will try for it to get one or two trees for it to go and put it on the ground. When I uproot it, I put a tree there. I think that's what I will do. So you can't charge me on vandalism now because at least I'll replace something for something. All right, guys, this is it. These are some of the bits and pieces of my time in Liberia and what I saw there, what people said, and my own suggestions as to the way forward. Because for me, I don't just believe in this, even though it is constructive. People refer to it as constructive criticism. I just don't believe in it. Just constructively criticize him, but at least put some advancement, suggestion, and make some suggestion and suggest possible changes as well. Even if somebody don't listen to take it on board, but at least you say, well, remove I will not just come here and say, okay, uproot those flower trees or so. Just uproot them, we don't need them or so, and leave it at that way. No, I should suggest something. Uproot the flower trees, please replace it with trees. That's it. You criticize constructively. If they can't do it, if I go on the ground to do it, if I uproot the flower trees, I must be able to replace it with some trees, proper trees that will give us, that will protect our generation tomorrow, that will protect our children, that will give us fresh air tomorrow. I mean, when the sun is hot, they're on Broad Street. Some people can go and take a break under the trees there. So these are some of the issues on the ground. Those are the stuff I saw. People I came across. But to be honest with you, challenges are still huge. And if you are in the diaspora, you come across any organization, any local organization that is making a difference on the ground, people, please get involved. Don't push your country away. If you yourself can't, if you yourself as an individual cannot, cannot have any initiative of that nature on the ground, you can join somebody to push it forward. Well, Edna Yates, that's a very good suggestion though. But I'm here in the UK. I don't know where are you, Edna, but I will feel happy if you can send me 3, if you can post it to me. I don't mind. I think that's a good suggestion. I will try and ask I'll go to my environmental office here and go seek information. First of all, whether the trees that we got here in the UK, whether they can actually flourish there in Liberia. I will ask them questions. Thank you for bringing that, Edna. But yeah, that's a good suggestion. If you are in the States or Canada as well, I mean, if you think something like that, but first of all, like what I'm going to do now, I think you go and find out too as well, whether the trees you have in the country you're in, whether they can actually flourish. They just go on the internet and check. It will be easy. Then that's another good advice. Thank you. All right, you're in the USA, so that's good. You say you can find out, and if there's any means, maybe you can ask a Liberian that, once you come on Facebook and post who is going to Liberia, I got 1 or 2 trees that I bought, I want to send for Ministry of Public Works. I think the Public Works will be. This is why this is why I'm calling on. I say, in whatever way you can help, join in and help. We can do all the talking, but at least we should try to fit in somewhere that we can also be contributing. That will help a lot to move our country forward. While it is true that we have the right to criticize the bad deeds, the ones that are doing the good, let's join them and push it forward. I'm begging you. Thank you so much, Edna. I will take that advice as well on board seriously. But tomorrow I'll go to my environmental my city council environmental department to go find out. I'm sure they will have an answer for me if that is possible and it can grow there. Definitely, if I'm going, I will try, because sometimes I see some of the tree they poke and plant here. It's not something like a stick they just put in the ground. Yeah, something like a stick they just put in the ground, and you see 1 or 2 to the years you see it just flourishing. So it's something worth to think about. Thank you so much. All right. You see now, I don't have those trees here. You see, Edna, I don't have it. If you have it and you know that it can even fit in a suitcase or so, then that's brilliant, because I don't think 10 hours or even 12-hour flight can kill it. I'm sure it can be preserved. So if you can get it, please inbox me. First of all, if you can get it, inbox me. I know a few family members are coming from the state or Canada in April, so I can even link you with somebody who is coming from Canada in April. I'm sure it can be posted anyway. You can post it to them and they will put it in their suitcase and bring it. If you find somebody coming to Liberia, if you want it, send it in my name. If you want it to be presented to Ministry of Public Works, I can go and do the presentation on your behalf. Seriously, I'm serious about that one. I will ask myself if those trees are here. I will see. Anyway, time fast spent now. Let me see. I'm sure we've been here for a little while now. Let me refresh and see how long we've been here. Okay. Not sure. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will be back later the evening, but that will be on the Justice Forum show, where we continue our advocacy for the establishment of War and Economic Crime School for Liberia. Today we'll take a look. Later tonight we'll take a look at some of the pages of the final report of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Liberia. Aliyu, I know that. That's why but it's worth finding because I know I got an area here. I call it it's kind of an indoor botanic center. I went there. I saw cassava growing up there. I saw cocoa. I saw our coffee. Yeah, I saw this growing up there. But I think the reason they put them indoor is because of the environment. I agree with you. But if we're finding out, I'll go and find out. There must be some trees here that could survive in Liberia or in Africa. Perhaps they can also tell us as to how to maintain them, because that would be another aspect of it. All right. Thank you so much. I want to stop here. I want to continue, but I've been here for a little while now. Let me say a big thanks to all of you. Where we need to criticize constructively, we will do it. Where we need to criticize negatively, we will do, because it's all part of human. Where we need to advise, we will advise. Where we need to seek your advice, like this now, like some of you guys are doing, we will seek your advice, because some of us, especially for me, I must let you know about it. My platform, a lot of the ministers and some of the agency guys that head into agencies, they are always, if they are not actively watching, sometimes they do come and watch it after a while, because we say something, we say stuff here that are very sensible and, you know, very, very rewarding. Like some of you now suggest your suggestions here, you know, it means a lot to the environment. That's a sort of EPA, Environmental Agency of Liberia, or the Ministry of Agriculture, or the Ministry of Public Works, you see. So thank you so much for your contribution. We appreciate it. So yes, thank you so much. We'll be back later tonight. We'll be talking about war and economic crimes code for Liberia. We'll be looking at some of the documents in the TRC report, and we'll be analyzing them, of course. And tonight we will have the line activated, or lines will be activated, so you can call in and give your 1 or 2 cents. If you are that person that is brave as well to call via the video, you can call via the video, and so we all can contribute. We're going to take our theme now to say goodbye for this segment of me sharing my experiences during my visit in Liberia, and until later this evening. Thank you so much. Bye.